Hi everyone, hope you're all doing great. Welcome back to my Tech Stack Learning channel. And this is the second session of my LangChain series. So please do watch if you haven't watched the first introduction session. So in this session, I'm going to walk you all through why LangChain, right? Why it matters a lot and how it works in terms of architecture explanations. And also one of the core concepts in terms of the coding also I have explained it. Okay, please stay tuned till end of the session, and if you like this channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and if you need any specific topics on the GenAI, please put it in the comment box. So let's get a dive in now. So before getting into a more deep concepts of LangChain, right? First we need to understand why do we need LangChain, right? So if you see the raw LLM API call, correct? So there we just you need to you just send a prompt. It's a basically a user query. It could be a raw query, and with the prompt, it's a simple prompt which you will be passing, and you get back the response. It's like query plus prompt, and then you call the OpenAI or any LLM API, and you get the desired output. That is how the raw LLM API works, without any state, without any memory, right? It's just you pass a query, get the output. That's all how the raw LLM API works, right? That's where the why LangChain, right? That is where the magic behind the LangChain, where it provides an abstraction layer or a framework we can call to structure everything around LLMs, like starting from the prompts, or it could be memory, or it could be the content like a RAG, or it could be an structuring the output, right? So here what happens is, as and when the user query has been fed in or it has come, right? So we have a prompt template which can be ingested, and then we can have the memory attached to it so that it is stateful, right? It remains the context of what user is asking for the further or the follow queries. And in addition, if you want additional data or a context of to be passed for the user's query, right? Then you can have the retrieval, which is basically a RAG. It could be API calls, it could be PDFs, or anything which is a knowledge base. And then you can also have a structured output, right? This is how the overall LangChain works. And it's not just a library, it is a framework to glue basically LLMs, then memory, then external knowledge and workflows into a real applications. That is where the magic behind the LangChain is. So basically, before we see the architecture, how the workflow works, right? I want to introduce like what are the main building blocks of LangChain, right? So it starts from the models. Basically, this involves the LLMs, or it could be chat models like from OpenAI, Azure, or from Hugging Face. It could be a text only, or it could be a multi-model also, right? So that is the first building block of LangChain. Then comes the prompts. Basically, it could be a prompt template or chat prompt template, right? So this will have the structured instructions given to the LLM using this templates provided by the LangChain, right? Then we have the memory. Basically, it keeps tracks of like past interactions or the conversational memory, we can say, right? Useful mainly for the chatbots or any multi-reasoning or multi-step reasoning use cases, correct? And then comes the chains. Basically, this combines the multiple components in sequence, or we can say it's like a workflow, right? Like for example, if you see here, take an input, then you summarize it, then translate, and then you give the final response. This is basically chaining, right? So that is one of the biggest advantage of using the LangChain. And last but not the least, we have the agents and tools. Basically, agents is the latest trend now, where we have the LLMs that can make the decisions dynamically, right? So each agents will be having its own tools like APIs or the knowledge base or the search engines, etc. Right? For example, we can say an agent decides whether to query a database or to fetch from Wikipedia or call for an API. Right? So these are the five main building blocks of LangChain. And next, I'll show you how this end-to-end building blocks are connected to each other. So now let's see how does the LangChain architecture or maybe the high-level design looks like and how it actually works from the back, right? So as I said, the user input is nothing but whatever user is sending to our applications, right? It could be a hi, how are you, or provide more details about my LangChain or etc. So that's a kind of user input we have it, right? And then comes, as you know, the user input is come the first will be the prompt template, which is basically we can combine your user input with additional prompts for the LLM to provide the desired output, right? So that is the second layer. And then comes the memory. Memory is basically optional, but to add more magic on this LangChain, it is better to have the memory along with the LLM, right? So memory will have to be attached so that it knows what is that actually the context of the users, and it can respond accordingly, right? And then comes the LLM layer. It could be any LLM. So the LangChain has a wrappers for like Azure, AWS, Hugging Face, or any other LLM services, LLM providers, right? So then comes majorly two concepts. Like one is chains, right? Basically this will have a predefined workflows, like you can define input, then summarize, and then translate, and then output, right? So basically you are going to define the workflows, that is where how the chain helps, like okay, this is done, now what next? I got an input, and then okay, I'm going to summarize it, and then what? Okay, I want to translate it, right? This is the workflows we can define in the chains. And then comes the agents, right? So the agents are majorly like a dynamically decision making, or the person who, it's like a human like responses or a reasoning kind of responses it can give, where these two agents will be having multiple tools around it. Like it could be the agents can call on external APIs, or it could be a DBs, or it could be a vector stores, anything it can call, right? So at end of all these three will be the final output, which will have a structured, human-like, contextual, and proactive responses for the user query, right? So this is how this flow shows how LangChain structure the process. Like you don't just call the model, you run input to the prompts, then memory, then workflows before and after the model call. Okay. Okay, now let's see like why this LangChain matters a lot, right? So without LangChain, we would have seen now we have to manually handle the context windows, or you have to manually write chains, or you have to integrate the APIs manually or debug it manually, right? It's a very very hectic, or involves a lots of manual coding or the integrations effort, right? So with LangChain, what you are going to do is everything is modular. It's very modular architecture. It is reusable, right? And then it is provider agnostics. You will have a lots of LLM providers. Good different LLM provider wrappers are available, and it is faster, right? Faster for development because of the less coding. Then scalable. It's production ready, and it also allow you the to have your own workflow, right? That is why it matters a lot. Okay, so now everybody has an idea how this the basic of LangChains, right? So what is the value it gives you, right? So abstractions, basically it's easier, faster, and less boilerplate, right? So that is one of the key value using LangChain. Composability, like you can build app as reusable blocks, correct? And then we have integrations to the multiple LLM providers, right? It could be databases, APIs, or any cloud providers. Then we have scalability, it's a production ready, easy to debug, deploy, monitor it. And then comes the flexibility, like works with many models, not just for the OpenAI, it could be any LLM providers. It's agnostic, right? So that these are the values behind the LangChain. Okay, so that wraps up the session which explains about why LangChain, how does this LangChain architecture or the design works, right? So it's basically solves the real world challenges with LLMs by adding the memory, prompts, workflows, and the tool integrations, right? So though through a structured architectures like starting from models, prompts, memory chains, and output, right? From simple workflows to the advanced agent, right? This is how the importance of LangChain is, right? So key takeaway here is LangChain is a glue that makes LLMs practical for real world AI apps, right? So in the next session, I will be walking you all through how to do this setup and how to what are the flows what I have explained here, right? I will be just providing you the live coding with the end-to-end installation and the setups, including the Python and the modules. So stay tuned, and if you like my channel, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.